good, Shellitronnn here. You can call me Shells, and I'm back again with a brand new video. And I'm going to keep it a Bowberry biscuit. If you did not love that game that we just saw between the Panthers and the Jets, then you do not love Carolina Panthers football. We got it all. We ran through the whole gamut of what you can expect to see in a Panthers game, win or lose. We got kind of a slow start. Then we saw some really big heroics from our both defense and our offense started to come online. And as the game went on, we had a very big lead that we saw in the third quarter get a little tight, and the fourth quarter get even tighter. And then near the last 2 minutes of the game, it was kind of a question like, ooh, there's no way we lose this game, right? Oh, we might lose this game. Hold up. I hope we don't lose this game. We had a chance to close this out earlier, and now we're in this position. This is the peak of cardiac cat entertainment, and that is what we got today when the Panthers and the Jets clashed. And as y'all know, there were a ton of storylines coming to this game. I don't want to focus on this one too much, but there was the whole, 20th anniversary of 9/11. The Jets are a New York team. I'm sure this would have been a much bigger storyline if this game was actually played in New York. There's also the storyline between Sam Darnold, Robbie Anderson, used to play for the Jets back-to-back years. They both come to the Panthers. And then Zach Wilson at a BYU. Was he the guy who was maybe going to be the best quarterback out of this QB draft? Or was he going to have a struggle, playing for the Jets, which, is par for the course when you play for the Jets. I will say overall, I didn't dislike what I saw from Zach Wilson. I'll get to that here in just a little bit, mainly talking about how clutch he looked at the end of the game. And I want to go over some numbers real quick just to go ahead and, paint a picture of what was going on. Sammy D was 24 for 35 for 279 yards. Only one touchdown, but no picks. I'm cool with that, right? But he only got sacked one time. And although he was hurried sometimes, although he was hit a couple times, and although there were some times where the pocket wasn't the cleanest, only getting sacked one time, I will take that as a Panthers fan. Look, take the good with the bad. The O-line wasn't the greatest, but if my quarterback does not get sacked but one time in a game, I'm definitely feeling good no matter who my team is. And compare that to Zach Wilson, who had a very, very rough beginning of the game. I think it was 6 for 16 at one point, 60 yards. It did not look very good, maybe even less than that. But he ended up 20 for 37, 258, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. We've seen way, way, way worse debuts, and he was on pace to have a horrible debut. Zach Wilson's late game heroics, especially that one drive where he had 3 different plays go for 20 plus, culminating in that pass to Corey Davis on the right side of the end zone for 22 yards. That one I think really saved his overall numbers. But to start this game off, man, it was kind of a snoozer. I won't lie to you. Both teams really needed some time in the game to fill each other out and actually get their offense moving. It kind of felt like a defensive game in a way. It also kind of felt like we don't really have our feet under us for real. And there was some big questionable things that happened. I think the biggest question mark to me that happened, I want to say the first half, but honestly the whole game, was when Matt Rule decided we're on the Jets' 33-yard line. We just had a highly publicized, big story of a kicking battle. Look, I don't care about kickers at all, and I understand that Joey Sly had to go. It was just time for a change. I also said that Saratosa, we have to see exactly what we'll get. We only got to see him for a little bit. But it was a little bit weird that we're deciding to punt on the opponent's 33-yard line. And then it's a 15-yard punt. I'm just not really sure why you don't go for a 50-yard field goal. What kind of nonsense is that? And nonsense isn't the word I want to use, but I'm family friendly on this channel, so I'm going to use the word nonsense here. Matt Rule had me really questioning exactly what we were seeing from our team and what would our attitude be. What kind of message we were sending not only to the Jets, but to the fan base. You're at home opening day, and we can't kick a field goal on the opponent's 33? At that point, why have a kicker? At that point, don't even have a kicker on the field. Don't even bring one on the roster. That was a very, very strange situation. 18-yard punt, ends up at the Jets' 15-yard line. Just a horrible, confusing sequence of events, and an even more confusing sequence of events. Not quite as bad, but it's still confusing. Panthers' 68-yard drive down the field. 4th and 1. We've got to go for it. I have no problem going for it on 4th down. 4th and 1, you're deep in enemy territory. Let's go ahead and make things work. Sam Darnold had a great drive. A very great drive. And then there was I'm not even sure what it was. It wasn't even really a muffed handoff to C-Mac. The handoff never gets there. It's like he had wet hands. I don't know what it was, but the ball just drops. The Jets recover it. We kill ourselves on a very good drive that looked very good from Sam Darnold in particular, and we almost would have destroyed any momentum we built, except for the fact that the Jets really had no idea how to play football in the first half. But the real big shift came when Shaq Thompson came through with a pick on Zach Wilson. I gotta say, man, in this game, Shaq Thompson looked like he was going absolutely crazy. It seemed like to me like he needed a year away from Luke Kuechly and TD. His identity for a long time was little brother to TD and Luke Kuechly, right? His job was never really to be a leader because he had two of the greatest. I mean, one of the greatest of all time. And then TD was also very, 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 very good, right? So when you're the third guy and you're still a starter and whatnot, it's kind of hard to know what your identity is. You took a year to figure it out. And if this game is any indication on how Shaq Thompson's going to be looking in the future, we got a dog in our hands, boy. He might earn that extension. He really might earn that extension. He had 10 combined tackles, had a sack, 3 passes defended, and a hit on the quarterback. I mean, you really can't ask for more. You absolutely cannot ask for more. Those are the numbers I've been looking at and seeing from Luke. Those are the numbers that you really have to see from one of your starting outside linebackers. I felt like that was actually one of the best performances I've seen from our linebacking core for a minute. I mean, even Jermaine Carter looked good. Hassan Reddick was a real deal. And, I mean, the whole defense was great. I mean, when you have a defense that gets 6 sacks, 10 hits on the quarterback, and you have 8 passes defended, 6 tackles for a loss, I mean, as a unit, these guys really showed up. And it was really every single player on the defense looking very, very good. Dante also looked very, very clutch near the end of the game. He had back-to-back plays where he had a tackle for a loss and then a pass breakup deep on the left side. But I don't know what to tell you, man. Dante looks like he's the real deal as well. Don't know what it's going to look like extension-wise, but this season looks like he's going to be looking a lot better and maybe even more consistent than the last couple years. Near the end of the game, he did get hurt, but he was stretching it out. Looked like he was going to be fine moving forward, but we have seen guys get hurt, come out, come back, and then during the week, it flares back up. But that's going to be something we're going to keep our eye on as time moves on. We'll see how that works out for us later in the week. But I mean, the first half of this game was great. I mean, we ended the first half up 16-0, right? Ended up 16-0. We looked really good. There was a one-play drive, that 57-yard pass from Darnold to Robbie. I mean, was the pass just a little bit underthrown? Robbie had to slow down, catch it, and then just keep running. I mean, he was just that open. So I'm not going to get too mad at Sammy D for that one. The Darnold got himself a one-play touchdown, 57 yards, just like old times, and it looked like we were rolling. Panthers are cooking. Looking like it's going to be a real easy game. Zach Wilson is struggling. Looks like nothing like we thought he might be coming into this season. We all thought, or most people thought he was going to be like very, very impressive. The next coming of who knows who. But he did not look like that in the first 2 quarters. Didn't really look like that guy in the third quarter either. But when we did get back into the second half, got ball first, and it looked like the Jets on defense kind of solved Christian McCaffrey. I won't lie, the second half, C-Mac did not look like he was getting the kind of yards he was earlier. And in some ways, it was like halfway the Jets defense looked like they figured out how to stop him. And in other ways, it looked like our O-line stopped getting pushed, like our O-line was getting gassed a bit, like they weren't really having the same kind of energy they had in the first half. And it was, like I said, probably a bit of both. But the end result was the same. We weren't seeing the same kind of explosiveness with consistency at a C-Mac. So sometimes our drives just stalled out. We went right back to trading punts back and forth with the Jets. And honestly, this is a game where I know we were only favored by 3.5 points, but I felt like this is a game where we should have a very, very good time. I mean, just going and breaking this game wide open. I said 31-17 in my preview video. It's tough. It was absolutely tough. I mean, watching this game in the second half had me feeling extremely just worried. But even with the miscues and whatnot, we did see some very, very great plays in the second half, mostly from our defense, that Davion Nixon, Hassan Reddick, combined sack where I don't know what happened, but Zach Wilson was looking like Cam, evading would-be tacklers and whatnot in the backfield, spinning out of one, dodging and dipping and diving and ducking out of all these sacks, just staying alive. I mean, at that point, he knew he was going down. Probably should have got down, but he got hit by both Davion Nixon and Hassan Reddick. We got a sack for that, but I mean, look. Near the end of the third quarter and the fourth quarter, Zach Wilson started to turn up. And it was Corey Davis. And I won't lie to you, Zach Wilson was making some pretty decent throws in the first half, but his receivers are horrible. I said it in my preview video. His receivers are not good. Corey Davis is inconsistent at best. And even he, their best receiver, was dropping passes. No Jameson Crowder, as you guys know. But, I mean, he was dropping passes left and right. Like, everyone was dropping passes. I thought Zach Wilson kind of got hung out there to dry a little bit. But, I mean, it is what it is. The Jets' weapons just are not that great. But as the game did go on, Zach Wilson started to find these dudes. He actually had a drive where there were 3 different pass plays that went for 20-plus yards, including a 22-yard touchdown to Corey Davis on the right side of the field. I'm pretty sure that was a broken play, roll out to the right, and I think that was Jeremy Chin in coverage. No, it might have been J.C. Horn, actually. But it was just a long play that was kind of just broken, and it's hard to stay in coverage for that long. But Corey Davis was wide open. It was bad. It was bad. It did not look good at all. And had me worried about our late game defense. Usually Phil Snow, his biggest calling card for me is late game adjustments, second half adjustments. That wasn't really an adjustment thing, but still, I like seeing my team getting carved up late in the second half, especially when we only have a 1-score differential between us and the Jets. Okay, it's us and the Jets. We should be up by 14-15 at all times. Opening kickoff, we should be up 14. It's the Jets. So when we got a very, very close game with them and it started getting scary, we lost the ball. And then Dante had to have those late game heroics I talked about earlier. Another touchdown to Corey Davis, but it's a failed 2-point conversion on a pass. And they had to go for an onside kick. That don't work because you ain't going to get them those helicopter onside kicks. I know it worked once, but it's not going to happen all the time. You better go to that other onside kick or try something different, my brother, because it's not going to work too many times. C-Mac, 18-yard rush, and we go ahead and win the game. Now, was it ugly? For sure. But did we win the game 19-14? Also for sure. But one thing that I did not like from the Panthers, even though we all understand that he got paid, number 1, and he really is the face of the franchise, number 2, and number 3, if you ain't using him, you are actually beating yourself. I'm talking about Christian McCaffrey, C-Mac, Run CMC, whatever you want to call him, having 30-plus touches this game. I don't like seeing that. 29 carries, 9 receptions caught all 9 of his targets. Look good. 89 yards through the air, 98 yards on the ground. So you understand, Christian McCaffrey did what Christian McCaffrey's going to do. I don't like seeing 30 touches. I don't like seeing 30 touches, especially when we have a guy like Chuba Hubbard who didn't even get a single rush. I know that might sound weird, but I'm 100% convinced that the 2019 season when our coaching staff was going so hard to get Christian McCaffrey that 1,000 rushing and receiving, that was especially the biggest reason why his body broke down so heavily in 2020. Because he just could not stay on the field. We used him every single down we could in 2019 in losing efforts in games we knew we couldn't win. The coaching staff, the front office said, look, if we're going to lose these games regardless, we may as well get him these numbers. And numbers are cool. I'm glad he got 1,000. But right now, we're trying to get wins. We're trying to have Christian McCaffrey stay on the roster for all 17 games. So I feel like being able to use him and Chuba Hubbard a little bit more interchangeably, I'm not saying 50-50, but I'm saying like, let him get off the field a little bit more. I'm looking at 22 touches maybe. We could have a very good situation for C-Mac, and we can actually extend how long he can remain healthy on this team without squeezing everything out of him from the very beginning. Outside of that, man, DJ, 6 catches for 80 yards. We saw a lot of really good things. Robbie only had 1 catch on 3 targets, and it was that 57-yarder. You want to see a little bit more, honestly. I want to see a little bit more actual targets. But you can see C-Mac and DJ, 9 and 8 targets. Next most was 3. So you can tell we're not spreading the ball around like that. Want to see if we can run the numbers and find out, is it possible to spread that rock around? We have all these receiving options. Let's see if we can get all of them involved. because we did use our second round pick on a receiver, right? So we're going to have to get everyone involved if we really want to have, a more well-rounded offense. But overall, I mean, everyone played well. Corey Davis, 5 catches for 97 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, on 7 targets, that's not bad at all. That's not bad at all. But like I said in my preview video, Corey Davis is a feast or famine kind of guy. This is a good game. I'm not sure the next game he'll probably have 2 catches for 13 yards. And that's just being honest. But numbers aside, this was a good game for the Panthers. Like I said at the top, we got everything we could have wanted out of the Panthers game. Got the highs, got the lows, got the mistakes, got the highlights, and then at the very end, it made you question, did we do enough? Did I do something to upset the football gods? Is there anything I can do right now? Is there anything I can do right now to stop us from crumbling late in the fourth quarter? The answer is no, but at least when you're watching Panthers football, you can always be assured you will never get a boring game. And that's what it's about, man. It's about how you feel when you're watching the game, and you're going to feel something. You're always going to feel, I don't know if it's always going to be positive, but you're always going to feel something, man. Anyway, that's how I feel about the game, man. What are your thoughts? What was your favorite plays, your favorite moments in the game? Complaints? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below, and you already know what to do with that like button.
Cheers to you, appreciate the chance. Been told y'all I been the man. Been told y'all I had the gift. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Real ones gonna recommend. Count this as another win.